What is your understanding of responsible innovation? How does your company apply it? And what major challenges do you perceive?
Looking at responsible innovation, I would say for me it means that whatever we innovate, it must be somehow for the good of the society. But also it's a question how to involve society in that, because it's very, very important to have the society in such a game. If we are doing something for someone, it's important that that one somehow understand what we are doing for them, and also it can help us with ideas or also reflection what we are doing. And also what is very important, to take in consideration what can be the negative effects of some new technology or some new service, and also to have some sort of the inclusion that everyone can benefit from such kind of the new technology or new services.
Mm-hmm. What kind of benefits does your company get out of responsible innovation? What's the business case?
For example, we are acting in the domain of e-health. And what we are producing, we are not producing end-user applications, but we are producing the system that enables general practitioners to be connected, and maybe for the society what is the beneficial through applying that system, that we make the e-prescription, what means that the patients doesn't need to go for every pills to the doctor. Instead, that they can just call the doctor and go to the pharmacy and pick up the pills. This is a couple of things that impact in general application of such system is we reduce the carbon emission with that, because it is less traffic, but also it's more convenient for the people that are using such system, and also more convenient for the doctors. It's not always so easy to find a business case, even when we are talking about such kind of the applications, or we must somehow convince our shareholders and our, let's say, management to be patient with that. This is the applications that doesn't have very fast return on investment. It takes a time that it will be applicable, and after that to somehow find who will really pay for that.
How could responsible innovation be linked to corporate responsibility and corporate sustainability?
I think that corporate sustainability and corporate social responsibility are somehow accepted in the companies, and also what is important that make some sort of common standards. Because currently the corporate social responsibility is measured differently, and they have a different impact. For example, my company is located in Croatia, and we're being recognized on the state level a couple of times that we are the best company in the corporate social responsibility. But if we want to introduce this responsible innovation and impact of that, we must somehow define it on the common way, make some sort of the standard. For example, I will take the ISO 9000. It is common accepted principles that must be fulfilled. And if we have on responsible innovation similar sort of principles that must be fulfilled, I think that at that moment the companies will have the opportunity to compare themselves and see the benefit of using such kind of, let's say, attitude to be more close to the society.
On what level should these standards be applied? On the level of an innovation team, on the level of an individual company, or even in the whole sector?
I would start from the whole sector. I think that it will be measured on the company level, I would say, because as we have in my company, innovation is present everywhere for any kind of the business what we are doing, or we are trying to convince people to innovate. And it's the reason why I think that it is very important to be measured on the company level, but it's very important if we want to compare ourselves and really see where we are with that, it must be defined on the sector level.
Quality management and quality standards are sometimes perceived as an additional administrative burden. How could we avoid that such kind of responsible innovation standard would also be perceived as an additional bureaucratic exercise?
Everyone can contribute, especially through innovation, and everyone feel at the end, I'm part of that. I make something positive. It changed also my life, but also with my work, I can change, improve the life of others. It's something that I internally can feel better if I do something and see that my work really do the impact in the society.
Ericsson has quite some substantial experiences in involving people into innovation processes, the Ericsson Garage. Could you tell me a little bit more about these experiences? How does the Ericsson Garage work, and what did you learn out of that?
It's very important to from the beginning understand what is really needed, how the people will use that. It can give us the inputs how to make the product on the proper way, and we have experience with that to involve the people at the early stages of our, let's say, prototyping. And after that, to go with the same people and try to utilize what we are producing, utilizing in the sense that people will use that and reflect on that and give us the real feedback, what really we must do. Even when we are producing this e-health system, it was very, very nice for us to have, for example, doctors in the process of developing systems, because like technicians, we always want to make that on the perfect sense for us, but it doesn't mean that it is good for the end user. And our experience is that it's very positive whenever you can include the end user or society in the process of developing something. It's not the easy way. Sometimes you must be careful in which stage you will take them. Also, it must be involved a scientific community to have the right proof what is going on. Sometimes the society will say, okay, it can be dangerous, but no one doesn't have the real data regarding that or proved data regarding that.
What's the motivation of people attending such participatory innovation processes? Why do they take part?
Sometimes it's curiosity, sometimes it's the real need that they see it will come, I can participate in that, and I can, let's say, somehow impact what will happen in the future.
Where are the limits of involving people into innovation processes, and in what kind of situation would you say it's not appropriate?
I would take them in the first thinking about the what really can be done from that, but during the real development without, let's say, have a proof of concept, it's sometimes dangerous to take them and discuss with them if they doesn't have enough knowledge or enough knowledge regarding impact of that, or even when you are making some new technology and changing complete things, for example, introducing the robotics in some processes. The first reaction of the people will be they will replace us. But if you have the developed on the right way this use case, prepared use case, and discuss with them appropriate use case, maybe they will change something for them. For example, any innovation change something. Whenever you innovate, you change something. And it's the reason why I'm saying that it must be on a proper way, explain that use case. If it is not explained on a proper way, sometimes can't be beneficial to take someone from outside.
How do you select the participants for the Ericsson Garage?
We have internally people. Internally, it's a decision who comes with the idea. We evaluate the idea. If the idea has the potential or it is aligned with our strategy, we say, okay, you can go in the garage. We believe in that. We will invest in that. But also at the beginning, in decision, who will go in garage, we are analyzing all the things if it is needed that someone from outside will be involved during the process of the development.
Mm-hmm. How long does it take?
For example, we take from 3 to 6 months, not longer, because if we didn't have something valuable produced in the 6 months, it is something different. It probably requires previous research or something like that, because we are talking about implementing the innovative ideas, not to take the research in garage. Research must be done previously.
Mm-hmm. And when you involve future users, you mentioned doctors. Mm-hmm. How much time does it take for them to attend the garage?
They decide, but probably in the intensive phase, at least 1 or 2 days per week, they are present, and especially when the developers make some new things, or they must have a decision point how to go further on. They are involved and they discuss together and see what is the next step and how to take the actions regarding what is needed.
Mm-hmm. Do you involve business partners as well?
Yes, we are discussing with our customers, for example, telecom operators sometimes, we are doing together some things. Also because it's beneficial for both of us. Sometimes we have a technology, but doesn't have the user. And if you want to have the first user and how to show the benefits of the technology, you must involve the business partners that are willing to do that and test that, because no one, for example, doesn't know real business case, how to make the business case. Sometimes it's very important to go together and to see what will be the real business case and how to apply that and use that.
When you co-create new technologies, is there any problem with intellectual property right?
The biggest problem is if we are co-creating something new. Sometimes it's not so easy to make the border in between what is your and what is mine. And if we make something together, for example, if we are creating new service and I use your technology or I use your premises, we can say, okay, it's pretty easy. But if we are co-creating some new service together and working on them, it is not so easy. And up to now, we try to avoid such situation and to have the clear statements who is owner of what, to be on easier way, have a possibility to continue with further development. What is the problem sometimes with taking the customers in the process, because we doesn't have just one customer. Every customer wants to be a special customer, that everything is done for them. But we have a couple of customers, and like technology company, we must think how to utilize that technology in a new business opportunity.
Are there any differences between different countries regarding open innovation and responsible innovation?
I think that in our region is defined some things. Everyone wants to act in that responsible way, especially because European Union defines some things, and whatever European Union defines, it starts to be popular.
Responsible innovation also means to take care about future impacts, to assess the impacts of future technologies. What kind of tools and techniques do you have in place to assess these future impacts?
Okay, we are part of Ericsson Corporation, and we are using some results that they are doing. They have the consumer lab, but also we are following the standards. We are following the different regulations, and also using the different let's say research available on the global level to see what will be the trends and how to apply that to our plans for developing and how to improve, let's say, our existing products to fulfill the requirements of the future development.
Mm-hmm. Is technology assessment or assessing impacts part of the Ericsson Garage process?
Yes, we always, when we discuss the ideas that will be taken in the consideration and development, we are assessing also what does it mean with the technology assessment or impact that will be done, and especially regarding the responsibility, how to use some kind of the services, especially when we are talking about our domain. Very often we are pressed from outside to develop some new software that will be very fancy, because we can track mobile phones and activities, and we try to avoid such situation. Even in the e-health domain, we were being pressed from the pharmaceutical industry because we can collect a lot of data through our system. And sometimes the industry are in the interest, build a new service that will help us. We are always discussing it is not appropriate to do that. Even I doesn't like to be in such a situation, because sometimes when I am producer of the technology, but I'm also the user of the technology.
The Living Innovation Project deals with the way we will live in 2030, so with smart homes and smart health. What technologies, what major technology trends do you think will affect the way we live in 10, 15 years?
I think that it's very important that we utilize this, what existing information and communication technology can give us, and this mobility and other stuff that is, for example, beneficial for that mobile communications and these things that Internet of Things that can be implied in that, and it can help us. But I would say that we must be very careful with that, because it is a lot of challenges inside that. First is how to enable that everyone can use it. And second one is the security or privacy issues, because this is something that must be deeply investigated to really enable usage of such kind of the technology, because no one of us doesn't like to live in the, let's say, global community. I want to live in my flat, and I doesn't like that everyone around the globe really can access my flat or control my flat, or even my health and my health issues or something like that. When we digitalize something, and it means that we will live in a digital environment, for sure it will be everything digitalized, but we must be very careful with that implementation. And one additional thing is regarding that we must enable everyone to use it. what is the current situation that it is available for the rich people, but so it is more important for the poor people to have, or let's say, people that doesn't have so much money to buy that technology. Sometimes it's much important, more important for them to have such kind of technology to help them in their living and improve their health conditions. But it must be find the real business model behind that. Government for sure must be involved in that.
Mm-hmm. What are the key benefits that people could get out of making their homes smarter?
I think that it can live, let's say, on better way. They will feel that doesn't need to take care about all the existing things. They can use their time, for example, for, let's say, reading, enjoying, well-being, other stuff that currently they are using the time for fulfilling some needs in the home. Technology can help in that, because when we are talking about smart homes, we are talking about applying technology in the home. I think that it can be beneficial for us, but as I said, it must be on controlled way implemented, not to expose us where we doesn't like to be exposed.
If a company wants to deal with responsible innovation for the first time, what first steps would you recommend for such a company?
I would recommend that it must take, find some people that are willing and can follow that, and also to make the strategic decisions to go in that, because you can choose the people and give them and say them, okay, follow the responsible innovation, but if you didn't build the patient and other stuff in the management team, or even explain to the financial department what really does it mean, you will not succeed. Because it's very important to understand that dealing with that takes a time, takes some money, and takes the right people that will drive that.
Thank you very much.